Ramblin' Ted here. Today we're in Hope, Arkansas. As you can see, the birthplace of former President Bill Clinton. Old Slick Willie. But we're not here to talk about Bill today. We are here to talk about another musician, though, because Bill was a sax player, if y'all didn't know that. Not the greatest sax player, but he was a sax player. We're here to talk about a guy named Elvis Presley, who played a few shows in Hope. And there's a little weird history that involves Elvis and Hope and the town I live in, Texarkana. So I want to get into that a little bit. It's a pretty neat little deal they got there for old Bill, though. I saw something over here I want to show you that's even cooler, though. Look at that old Coca-Cola sign up above that train. That is neat. My buddy Adam the Woo would go nuts over this. Also, Wilson's Saloon over there. Pretty cool. Hope's a neat little town. The picture of Bill Clinton I was just showing is at the train station, which is right over there. Pretty famous little train station. That is actually the city hall, I believe, and let me zoom in on it. The first time Elvis played in Hope, that's where he played. About 3 or 4 months before the incident we're going to talk about. And I don't think he drew a real great crowd. I think he felt kind of bad about it and didn't draw a huge crowd there. Of course, he had just started to get popular in 1955, so he was not the Elvis that we know. I'll head over to the place where he played the show on the night that is in question and let you see it. If I can find it. I'm pretty sure I can, though. GPS is wonderful. I've been a fan of Elvis since I was a kid, and I'm not a huge fan of Elvis the man necessarily, because like all men, he was fallible, and we're all fallible. We make mistakes and we do stupid things. But I've been a fan of him because when I was a kid, my mom had a huge collection of 45 RPM records, and I got into messing around with. I've always been into electronic equipment and stuff, and messing around with electronics and music. And I loved music, and she wanted these 45s put on cassette tape, so I started doing that for her. And I discovered a lot of old 50s rock and roll. She apparently had dated a DJ in Des Moines, Iowa, and got all these 45s from him, and a lot of them were marked with not for sale, on them and stuff. It was pretty neat. But anyway, I got to listen to Elvis, and then I saw a documentary movie about him, and I think it was the one with Kurt Russell. And anyway, I decided that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to play music. And for the most part, I've done that for most of my adult life. Never was a famous rock star like Elvis, like I wanted to be, but you take you deal with the cards that you get. But anyway, so I've always really liked Elvis. I just liked the whole persona, the whole mythology of the rock star who's a little bit out there. And I just always liked the general aura of that, and some say I'm a little out there. So, I'm kind of crazy. We all are. If you're not a little crazy in this world, then something's wrong with you, because it'll make you nuts. But in the 50s, Elvis was probably considered really out there in the 50s. He wore crazy, outlandish stage outfits and everything, and played a lot of shows where he did some crazy stuff. We all hear about him shooting the TVs and all that. But here's the thing. Elvis, when he was a truck driver in Memphis before he got famous, he would see people driving by in fancy cars, namely Cadillacs, and he always wanted a Cadillac. Well, in 1955, his dream came true. He got a pink Cadillac, and I'm not sure if it was pink when he got this one or if he painted it. I know he painted the second one. But a pink Cadillac, which he always wanted, and he loved this car. And in interviews, he always said that he stayed up all night in the motel room looking out the window of this car and didn't get any sleep. And the next day, it burned to the ground. It wasn't the next day. It was a few months later, and we'll talk on that. And I'm going to show you the spot where that happened, because I didn't know until last week that I live about 15 miles from where that happened. So it's pretty interesting. I never saw anything about a car burning to the ground in any of the documentaries I watched about him. So it's kind of interesting piece of history. But anyway, he played a show here in Hope that night, June 5th, 1955. And we'll talk a little bit about it, and I'll show you where this happened. It's kind of interesting. I'll throw some pictures in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Like I was saying, Elvis always wanted a pink Cadillac, or a Cadillac in general. He grew up poor. He drove a truck. But when he signed with Sun Records, he happened to go in there and record a little record for his mom. And when they heard that, they went nuts. Apparently the secretary loved him. Sam, the main guy there at Sun, didn't think much of him. But the secretary just loved him. So he got his record contract, and one of the first things he got there was a pink Cadillac. Car he'd always wanted a Cadillac. I think he only had the car about 4 months, but it was a dream come true for him. Now we're talking about the days before Elvis was a famous, super world famous rock star. He was just starting to get popular. So like most musicians then, he drove his Cadillac to gigs. They'd load up and they'd throw the bass guitar in the back and some amps in it, and him and his guitar players and stuff. Sometimes they'd take 2 cars because they couldn't quite fit everything in there. But they would load up in his Cadillac and drive to gigs, and that's what they were doing on the 5th of June, 1955. Lady who runs this Bill Clinton Museum saw me walking around outside and invited me in, and we'll do a little sidetrack to some Bill Clinton here since we're in Hope. Pretty neat little museum though. Pretty cool. She said she's only here about 3 hours on Sundays. Like I said, Bill's a sax player. There he is, jammed out in his leather jacket and sax. Yeah, he was born here, and Bill ended up growing up in Hot Springs, if I'm not mistaken. I've met several people who have met him, and I like to talk about what I call the cult of personality after a song. But they say he makes you feel like you're the only person in the room when he speaks to you, and that's the kind of thing it takes to be a president or somebody like that, good or bad, like him or not. You have to have that thing. There he is meeting President Kennedy. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bill wanted to be a politician his whole life, so pretty neat. It's also the inside the railway station here. So this is kind of a display of what they'd have piled on these carts to load into the trains, and Lisa would love all these old suitcases. Conductor uniform up there. I love this. I love going around, and I love meeting people. Really interesting museum if you're ever in Hope and want to learn a little about Bill Clinton or the train station here in general. Not a bad little museum. Pay toilet, 5 cents. Do they still have pay toilets? Is that even a thing anymore? I remember when I was a kid, you'd have to pay a dime to go in and use the toilet. But I don't think they do that anymore too much. They've kind of calmed down. Well, there's Mike Huckabee when he was a kid. Wow. Another musician, bass player, who was the governor of the state of Arkansas for quite a while. She told me there were pictures back here along this wall next to the train tracks, and I never would have seen these if she hadn't said that, so that is cool. These are all students from schools in Hope. Old pictures here. That looks like that's got to be the... Oh man, can't really see the cars in it very well, but I'm gonna say 50s, maybe. Imagine. History's fascinating to me. I like these pictures. This is nice. Some Hope high school cheerleaders from back in the day. That's got to be, that sure looks like the 50s, doesn't it? Yeah. Wonder if any of my watchers' family are in that picture. If they are, leave a comment. Tell me who they are and what their name is. I would really like to know. Like we say, Hope has a rich musical history. Several of my favorite musicians are from here. A friend of mine named Dave Allman, who's one of the greatest musicians I've ever met, is from here. Just a lot of music in this area. In fact, Highway 67 that will be going down where Elvis's car burned is nicknamed the Rock and Roll Highway. They don't do a whole lot with it. I thought they were going to do more with the whole Rock and Roll Highway theme and really try and play that up for tourism, but so far they have not done much. Kids climbing all over some of the railway cars. This girl here's brave. Look at that. She's up there. Really nice artwork too. This is neat. Look at that. It's a train. That's neat. I love stylized art like that, where it's you can tell what it is, but it's not exactly what it is. You know what I mean? And I think that's amazing the way that works with our minds to fill in the blanks, and it's kind of a neat thing. The sign back here, I'll get a little shot of this sign. The Heritage Wall is what they're calling it. Nice. Very interesting. Surprise cat painted on the wall here. At first I thought he was fried in there like the cat from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But no, it's just a painting. Definitely there. Man, look at this old Tailgater's Burgers sign up here. Do you see that? That's amazing. I love stuff like that. I mean, come on. You don't get much better. Small town Americana is alive and well in Hope. Love it. Love it. I wish they were open. I would go in there and get a burger because I'm a little hungry. I left the house without eating anything this morning. It's kind of funny. That might be if you put a flatbed on that thing, that would probably be similar to the truck Elvis did his deliveries in. All right, let's see if I can find the second place where Elvis played, which was a stadium. I think it's called Fair Park Coliseum, maybe? Look at this little outdoor dining area. I'm definitely coming back here. I am for sure. Hey, there I am over there. I'm for sure coming back here to have a burger. This is neat. I'm getting sidetracked a little from my story, but it'll just be a little bit long video. Y'all can watch it, or you can fast forward to the other parts if you want to. This is nice. I'm liking this. Really quiet down here because it is Sunday. The what is today? The 11th, I believe. Yep. June 11th. So I'm a little behind the anniversary. I kind of missed the 68th anniversary of this incident, but I'm close. I'm real close. Close counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and Ramblin' Ted videos. So, all right, let me find this other place. Found it. This is the Fair Park Coliseum. This would be where, on the evening of June 5th, 1955, Elvis played his second show in Hope. And this place is a lot larger than the first place he played, and apparently he filled this place up. I'll walk around the side and show you just how big this place is. But apparently he filled this place up. There are several pictures online of him playing with his band up here. And it's really funny because in the pictures he's not wearing a jacket, he's wearing like a lace shirt. And if it was June 5th here, I can see why, because, well, you'll see why. I'll walk around the side and show you. I can see why he didn't want to wear a jacket, though. You can see this is quite a large venue. And it was a relatively new, I believe, place back in 55. I can't remember when they said they built it. It wasn't too long before that. So for Elvis, in within a matter of months, just 3 or 4 months, to go from barely filling up the other place I showed you, which probably held, I don't know, 600 people, maybe less, maybe 350 or so, to play in a place like this, says something about how popular he was becoming very quickly. Now you can see the sides of it are open. It's open-sided. It's got grandstand seating inside, but it's not an indoor venue by any means. So probably a little warm up there with all those people under that roof on a June night, 1955. So that explains why in the pictures you see from that show, Elvis is not wearing a jacket like his trademark, shiny gold jacket or whatever. He's just wearing literally a lace button-up shirt. And I imagine, Elvis moved a lot. So no horses. Do not bring horses to the RV park. Okay? Just make sure you don't do that. We're in Arkansas when they have to tell you not to bring your horses. I love it here. There's a lot to love about the South. One thing not to love about the South, though, is the ridiculous heat. It is already getting hot. It's probably 90 some degrees right now. Not stupidly humid, though, so that's kind of good. But yeah, so this is where Elvis played that night. Wish I could get you inside, but there's probably not a lot to see. I know there's a stage, I believe, on that end, down there. I think the seating runs this way, but I could be wrong, because it looks like the seating rounds. I'm going to walk up a little closer and see if I can take a look. Let's see. It's really hard to tell. This seating blocks all of your view. So I don't know which end he would have played on. Could have been either one, I guess. But the seating looks down here. I'll go down here and let you see what I mean. Yeah, you can see right there the seating actually rounds around this way. So maybe the stage is on the other end. I'm not real sure. Either way, this is the place where he played on June 5th, 1955. So they would have left here, loaded up their Cadillac, and taken off. Now, Elvis, in the car that night, I don't know if his band was actually with him. I think they were driving another car, because Elvis was had a local girl riding with him, and I'll have to look at my notes and to remember her name. There are two possibilities who this girl is. There's one that's really strong, and that's the girl I'm thinking of. And then the other possibility is it was a girl named from Texarkana who I believe was named Bonnie something, and out of respect for her family, I'm not going to say her last name. But the other girl is pretty well noted that it was her. There are even pictures of Elvis with her that night that I'll put in here. But I think they were alone. I think they had the instruments in the car with them. But I think they were driving by themselves. They had quite a few instruments with them, though. All right, well, we'll head out. I'll stop and get myself a beverage. And I guess we'll head out to show you where this all happened. He made it about 16 miles out of Hope, about halfway to Texarkana, a little town called Fulton, just past the Red River Bridge. And we'll head over there and let you see that. Hey, Ted from the future here. After doing a little more research, there are conflicting reports on exactly where Elvis played that second show. Some reports say it was back at the first place I showed you. So I'm going to go on with the information that I've got saying it was his second place, but maybe he played at the first place again. So I'm not 100% sure. So don't flame me in the comments, please. I make mistakes. But the research that I looked up on this showed that he played at what they now call the Fair Park Coliseum. So I'm going to stick with that, but there's a possibility that wasn't it. Possibility. So It has been 68 years ago. So anyway, back to Ted from the past. I told y'all it was getting hot. 103. In the rest of this video, I've got to shoot outside the car, so I'm gonna get there and finish it up. It's getting a little warm. Working on my tan though, you know. Ramblin' Ted's got to have a tan, right? I'm the palest person in the world. I can't even expose my. It's illegal in several counties for me to wear shorts because my legs are so white. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I had to get a little snack and a little something to drink, and we will head down 67 now, just past the Red River, just past Fulton, and I will show you the spot where Elvis's Cadillac burned up, gone. Catch me in a second. All right, like I said, it was Elvis and a lady friend, and I'll have to look her name up and put it in the description. They came across that bridge. That bridge right down there crosses the Red River. Why am I not? I am not focusing. Let's get rid of this. There we go. A little better. That bridge crosses the Red River. Apparently, he pulled across that bridge. Noticed his car smoking and on fire. So he pulled off to the side of the road. This road hasn't changed much. This was the main thoroughfare between Little Rock, Memphis, and Dallas back in the 50s. I mean, they built Interstate 30, I want to say late 60s, early 70s. And it's actually right through those trees over there if you look that way. But this is where he pulled off to the right. A farmer coming across the bridge saw his car on fire and stopped and gave him and the girl a ride to Texarkana. Now that farmer will say that Elvis left his emergency brake on, is what he said. That Elvis left his e-brake on and it overheated a brake. But there's a reason why that's not true, and I'll put a picture in here to show you. The pictures that are online show the front brake is what burned up in the front. They say Elvis jumped out of his car, popped the hood open, and immediately flames started flying up through the hood at him. He couldn't get in his car. He got out. The guy that stopped managed to help him get out the amplifier. I think the bass guitar was in the back seat. Some other stuff. Elvis tried to get, there's pictures online of Elvis with a movie camera, and he tried to get that movie camera. He said it was in the glove box and told the farmer that stopped, or I keep calling him a farmer, I'm not sure he was even a farmer, that he had a $1,000 camera in the glove box. Now $1,000 in 1955 was a lot. Money. So anyway, he never got the camera out, so that explains what happened to it. There are pictures of him in a parade for the Louisiana Hayride, I believe, filming on the hood of his car, sitting on the hood of his car. But they said Elvis sat down here on the side of the road and cried like like all of his dreams were going up in smoke, and in a way they were. Elvis absolutely loved. I'm moving off to the side. These people fly down this road. Still quite a busy highway, even though Interstate 30 is what carries most of the traffic. A lot of people choose, including me, I choose to take 67. I like it better. But right behind me, the spot where Elvis's Cadillac burned. I think it just a front brake lining on the driver's side probably locked up. It happened back in those days, and Elvis had gotten a ticket about a month before down in Shreveport. Elvis liked to drive fast. He got stopped for he finally got stopped. The cop had to chase him, doing about 80 miles an hour, and ended up getting hauled off to jail. So he had a little record there in Shreveport. But yeah, so he liked to drive fast, and he was probably flying along and flew across that bridge back there, and brake was hung up a little bit and just caught on fire. It happened back in those days. Cars were not what they are nowadays. But anyway, I'm going to get off the side of the road right here and head back to Texarkana. There was one more thing I wanted to try and find. There's a picture of Elvis in front of a motel in Texarkana, but I cannot. It looks familiar to me, but I cannot for the life of me remember where that motel is. If I happen to pass it on the way back, I'll stop and shoot a little video there. But if not, y'all remember, it costs nothing to be nice. Be good to each other. Stay off the highway. Don't try this at home. People are crazy. They'll run you over. And I will see you next time. If you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe. I'll go out and stand by highways for you so you don't have to. Anyway, thanks a lot.